big victory by Buffalo over the Patriots. They'll move to 10-6 on the season. A victory really led by the defense. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. Maddy Glab alongside of Steve Tasker. We're presented by the divorce and estate planning law firm of Clark Peshkin. It's Buffalo's fifth straight season of at least 10 wins. That's the longest stretch in franchise history by the Bills, breaking records with Sean McDermott at the helm. Steve, the Bills defense scored 20 points off of turnovers in this one. The offense never really got rolling. They got into a rhythm for a little bit in the second half, but this victory really led by the Bills defense and Rasul Douglas, who was all over the place this afternoon. They had 3 turnovers, the Patriots did, in the first quarter alone. 4 total on the day. So, Steve, what did you think of how the Bills were able to fight to get a win? Because it got close there at the end.
Well, at the end it did, but actually at the end I thought it really started sitting on pins and needles. We've been down this road so many times with the Patriots, but really the offense closed it out on them. They got the 2 minute, they got the ball with 2 minutes, grounded out a couple of first downs and put the game away. Patriots never got back on the field. They played much better in the second half offensively than they did in the first half, and in the first half you couldn't have played better defensively. I mean, as you said, turnover after turnover after turnover, got a pick 6 and put the Bills in scoring position in the red zone after 2 other interceptions and a fumble recovery. So a lot going on in the first half turnover-wise for the Bills defense. The Bills offense sputtered a little bit in the first half. Otherwise, this would have been a laugh or a quick. But as we've seen, the Bills did find it later. Dalton Kincaid setting the rookie receiving record for a tight end with his 66th catch today, and had the long one that set up the first touchdown right out of halftime that really put a signature win together for the Bills. That was their last touchdown that they scored today after he caught the long ball on that first touchdown at halftime, and the Bills walked off with it.
FYI, if you're not scoreboard watching like we are, the Ravens-Dolphins game went final. 56-19 is the final score. The Ravens win. That means Week 18 is for the AFC East title. The Bills did their job. The Dolphins lost against the Ravens. So whoever wins, whenever we figure out when this game is going to be next week, that will be for the AFC East crown. All right, Josh Allen is on the podium, so let's get right over to QB1.
Are you okay with the shoulder?
Yeah, it's a little stinger. I've never felt one of those before, so felt a little funky, but we're good to go.
Overall today, passing game, how the pressure?
Extremely. I was just off. Just trying to find a rhythm early. Just couldn't seem to find one. Felt like we got into a little bit of a groove in the third and fourth quarter. Got to start better than that. But yeah, it's never fun throwing incomplete pass after incomplete pass, and just got to find a way early on to get our guys more involved.
Josh, what do you think? What really attributed to the slow start? You guys have been on fire the past 3 games. What attributed to the slow start?
I think they had a good game plan. I think they did a good job of rushing and just making me feel some stuff at my feet, and just, again, got the timing off just ever so slightly, and that's all it really takes. And they played good coverage in the back end.
That play to Kincaid was kind of one that we've kind of been waiting for all year, getting him downfield like that. Can you just maybe what happened on that play to make it work?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it looked like cover 0. They don't typically run it that far on our side of the field, so I don't know if it was a bust on their side or not. Safety ran with the back, and there was just kind of nobody over the top or in the middle, and got my eyes there, and Dalton ran a heck of a route and finished the play.
You also had Diggs deep, and you could tell you felt like you had him there. What did you see on that one?
Yeah, just missed him. That's plain and simple.
Dalton also set the Bills rookie reception record today. What has he meant to this offense throughout this season?
I mean, he's been extremely consistent, very smart finding zones. It doesn't feel like he's a rookie, and again, getting him more involved downfield, it's something that we've been looking to do, and he did a little bit of that tonight, and we're going to need that going forward.
How much do you tighten things up on offense going into next week?
Yeah, big time. The division's on the line. We understand going there. We got to be at the top of our game, playing against this team. So got to have a really good week of practice, and then, again, just put our best stuff on the field next week.
With all that's happened this year, and then here you are going to Miami, AFC East on the line. I mean, it's just after this game, but what are your thoughts of all that coming down and you guys having a shot to get the AFC East again?
Yeah, obviously would love to have a home game in the playoffs. Would love to get in the playoffs, so that's first and foremost. just doing whatever we can do to give ourselves a chance of getting in.
Did it feel like that throw to Kincaid that I referenced, did that maybe kind of wake you guys up a little bit? Maybe that was a play that got you going?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that one felt good coming out of the hand. Like I said, just didn't find it that much early today, coming off the hand. And it's a weird feeling as a quarterback when you're throwing the ball and it's just not spinning the way you want it to spin. And just, again, trying to reset and find those techniques that help you out in the off season, and just getting back to some of that. So still got to continue to work on it.
How crazy was the first quarter with the defense getting all the turnovers?
That was one of the longest quarters I've ever been a part of. 3 possessions down there in the first quarter, and we only scored 1 touchdown. So that's not good enough on our end. We got to be better prepared to go and get 6 and 7 there. And again, we lucked out, and our defense played a heck of a game. We got just trying to find a way to win. That's it.
I bet you found Shakira a couple more times for the play today. His ability to sort of find over cautious how impressive.
Yeah, he's always where he's supposed to be. He runs everything extremely hard. Got a lot of trust in him. He's been working extremely hard throughout the season, and he just continues to find himself in opportune moments.
Josh, there wasn't a ton of step on the field for the first 2 offensive series of the second half. Was there any specific reason for that?
Not quite sure. I know we run the ball a little bit more, and just kind of that personnel was what was in. So yeah, I guess.
Thanks, John.
All right, that was Josh Allen. He goes 15 of 30 for 169 passing yards, no touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground, finishes with a 53.3 passer rating and interception as well. Steve, what do you make of his performance? Why did the Bills struggle to get going on offense today? The pass rush by the Patriots was getting to them early and often, and you could see that was kind of affecting the guys to get going there.
Yeah, I think it affected Josh's delivery a little bit, and then as well, I thought the players he was throwing to dropped about 3 balls in the first half that he was 1 of 8 at one point, should have been at least 4 of 8 like he finished the game. Because of the pressure, he was not right on target with it, and guys couldn't make even if it was a slightly difficult catch, they were dropping it. So guys were trying, James Cook dropped 1, Latavius Murray dropped 1, Trent Sherfield dropped 1, Steph Diggs dropped 1. So you've got all this stuff going on in the first half, and that's it, man. You got to catch it when they throw it to you. And that has last year, this year up to this point they've cut it out, but last year that was a huge problem. The turnovers and drops were huge in this for this team. When you have a game like that, you get a slow start. Those same 2 stats that come back to haunt this team: turnovers and drops. Mm-hmm. They're bad plays. They're negative plays, and this year that, to me, and particularly today, is the reason they got off to a slow start.
Their leading receiver only had 4 catches. That was Dalton Kincaid. He does go for 87 receiving yards. Josh Allen also now up to 15 rushing touchdowns on the season. He ties Jalen Hurts for most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in a single season ever. I would guess that both of them continue to add to that number, possibly in the final game of the regular season coming up next week. We've got Terrell Bernard, who is talking to the media right now. He's up to 6.5 sacks on the season. He's had a great season, so let's hear what he had to say after today's win.
With the 3 turnovers you guys created in the first quarter there, just what it was started.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a point of emphasis this week. Trying to improve, taking the ball away, giving it to our offense. Rasul made 2 crazy plays, and then CB coming in, punching it out. So, that was definitely a point of emphasis this week, and to start the game like that, that's what we, want to do, and something that we try to do every week. So, yeah, to start like that was good for us for sure.
Terrell, how about you individually? You're up to 6.5 sacks on the season after a 2-sack performance today. How comfortable are you feeling out there?
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun, just trying to learn and grow every week throughout the season, being able to blitz and do some certain things and try to get back to the quarterback. It's been fun. I think the guys around me is, a big part of all of us having success, trying to get back there. Just winning one-on-ones on the backs, the D-line, commanding double teams and, freeing us up a little bit. And, when it's working like that, you get opportunities. So it's been good.
How much of a gut, I know it was the first play of the game, how much of a gut punch was it to watch the kickoff go back?
Yeah, I mean, that sucks for sure, but at the end of the day, when we go out there, we got a job to do, and we got a standard of how we play defense. So, those guys made a ton of plays on special teams all throughout the game. I'm talking about us. We made a ton of plays on special teams all throughout the game, and, I feel like at the end, we made up for that. But, I mean, you can't do anything about it but go out there and try to do, whatever we can whenever we get on the field.
What did you see from Daquan Jones in front of you coming back?
Yeah, he set the standard, I feel like, for us as a defense early on. Just his presence out there, his leadership, and then his ability to, command double teams, split double teams in the run game, and then really rush the passer and, take double teams and, counter off of that to put pressure in the pocket. I feel like it makes it easier for everybody. So he was, definitely a huge help, and you could definitely feel his presence out there.
You mentioned the two big plays from Rasul. What has stood out to you about him since he arrived mid-season? I think this is his second game with 2 interceptions. I mean, what allows him to kind of have such a nose for the ball?
Yeah, I think like you said, just instincts. And film study and just his confidence within himself. I think the first one, they bursted to a 4 strong, and he was, we were in a cover 3 look, and he was a solo corner on the backside. And something we had talked about was, them isolating that and trying to throw the slant into it. And, he ended up making the play and picking the ball off. And, just his intensity, his effort, and then his understanding of the defense and just of ball in general, I think that, separates him and sets him apart and allows him to make a ton of plays on the ball.
How about maybe his understanding of the defense for someone who hasn't been here that long?
Yeah, I think, just he understands what we're trying to get done, and he understands how offenses are trying to attack him, more than anything. So sitting in our back 7 meetings, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, just hearing him talk about how, he understands how an offense is scheming it up to try to attack a corner in, certain situations. And you could tell he loves ball and he understands, just the game in general. So I feel like when you have a corner like that, and then, just with his ability as well, he can make a ton of plays.
What does it say about this team to look back at where you guys were a month ago, and now you have a Week 18 chance to win the division?
Yeah, I think, just something we've been talking about the past few weeks, just the resilience of the team and, understanding we're taking it 1 week at a time. And, we got a lot of things we want to accomplish, but not looking too far ahead, not looking too far behind, and, staying in our process throughout the week and, being prepared for Sundays.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, it's time to shout out a big dog on the field this afternoon. This week's Player Spotlight is presented by Microsoft Surface. Microsoft Surface is the official tablet and sideline technology of the Buffalo Bills, and we got to give credit where credit is due to Rasul Douglas for the game that he had. 2 interceptions. He also tipped the first interception that the Bills had, tipped the pass, Bailey Zappi's pass. Ed Oliver was able to hold on to that ball. But what a game by Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, he has been an enormous success since he came over from the Green Bay Packers. The Bills were looking to get better at corner, and Brandon Beane just picked him to go after. The Packers traded him, and Rasul Douglas showing how smart of a player he is, his IQ, his aggression, the ability to jump that pass, and to know, just have a huge high football IQ. This interception we're looking at right now, as he comes off, you see him back off. He's not even looking at the receiver. He's looking at Bailey Zappi. Those are his keys. He comes up, sees Zappi release it. The receiver has no idea where the football is. Rasul does and takes it into the end zone. Just a heads-up play, knowing what's important on a play and committing to make sure that it stays that way. And that's just committing his body to knowing what he sees and trusting himself. There's nothing that says Bailey Zappi couldn't have pump faked that and gone deep on him, but he just didn't. He just knew it wasn't going to happen. Great job by Rasul Douglas. 7 games, 6 turnovers coming into this game. he has been an engine for that defense.
Tasker, guess the QB rating that Douglas allowed to Bailey Zappi in the first half. The number is less than 10. 2.1 quarterback rating is what Rasul Douglas allowed to Bailey Zappi.
The tipped interception right out of the gate was huge. Yeah, the tipped interception that Ed Oliver, and Ed Oliver, he continues to play at a high level. So you've got guys on both ends of the defense, the front and the back end, that are playing at a high level. Ed Oliver just sheer hustling. One hand grabs a diving interception tipped by Rasul Douglas when he jumped another route that Zappi was trying to get rid of. And man, oh man, just Ed coming back and making that catch was amazing. And really that really counteracted the opening kickoff return for a touchdown the Patriots got. It soaked all the life out of them, gave the Bills the lead back as they get up. They scored a field goal and then came back with a touchdown to go up 10-7. It was like, okay, now at least we're back to even almost, right? So those three turnovers early were an enormous difference maker, and actually ultimately were probably the difference in the game.
I mean, they scored 20 points off turnovers. It could have been 28. The Bills settled for 2 field goals off of 2 of the takeaways. Rasul Douglas also has 6 takeaways since becoming a Buffalo Bill, an amazing number for him. I think we would all love to see him in a Bills uniform next year. Let's move on with more players. Dalton Kincaid now talking in the media.
Dalton, not sure if you were made aware that you set the Bills rookie reception record today. If you were made aware, just what is your reaction to that?
I was actually just told walking here, but it's a cool honor to have. I think it speaks volumes kind of about the people around me and the situation I've been put in. But we won, and that was the most important thing today.
Josh was talking about the deep pass you guys hit in the game, and that was kind of building this season to kind of connect on one of those. What was it like to finally make that deep play?
It felt pretty good. It was kind of just like the sea parted, and I just took it, and I had a feeling it was coming to me like pre-snap, so it felt good to connect on one of those.
What do you think it kind of was early on? The offense had some trouble getting rhythm going. What do you think kind of led to that early on?
I'm not sure necessarily, but that was, our focus was, let's figure it out, get it going. Came in at halftime, and we were adamant on making a change and just kind of figuring out, what's not working and what's working for us.
Is there anything you think you guys did differently in the second half?
We made some adjustments at halftime. I mean, we're going to have to watch the film and figure it out, but difficult to win, week 17, and just, we're playing a pretty good team, so just glad we came out with the win.
What's been the message throughout this run to get you guys in a position to win the AFC East next weekend? We've been in the playoffs the last 4 or 5 weeks. Each game's been, the most important game. And now that this game passed, next week's the most important game for us. So looking forward to that.
Thanks, guys.
After Kincaid's 4 catches for 87 yards, he passes Sammy Watkins for most catches all time by a Bills rookie. Watkins had 65 catches in 2014, so Dalton now passes Sammy Watkins. He's had a great season, a little bit quiet over the last couple of weeks, but good to see him come on strong in this game because he's going to be needed in the postseason.
He was on the injury list for a couple of weeks with his shoulder that he got, and now he was not on the injury list this week, so his play showed it. He played with a little more confidence, caught the ball well, certainly ran well. The deep ball was a nice welcome change. We've been looking for him to threaten a defense deep all season, and finally he gets this chance with the Patriots and gets behind the defense. That's what people have been waiting to see. But let's face it, his numbers speak for themselves. As a rookie tight end for this team, he sets the season-high record for rookies with 66 catches. Just an outstanding player and has really been everything that was advertised of him. Certainly, I think he did take a dip the last couple of weeks. I don't think he was 100% healthy. I think he is now, and it showed today. And
really across the team, you talk about health. This team is starting to look healthier and healthier as we move on week by week by week and close out the regular season here next week. You got to put the Bills, I would guess, at the top of the list or near the top of the list among teams in the NFL who have pretty good health on their side heading into the playoffs.
Well, aside from the guys, the all-pros that they lost for the season, Tre'Davious White and Matt Milano, yes. guys that have been playing and were playing and now getting back healthier. Daquan Jones today got in, took some significant snaps. A.J. Epinesa was back in the lineup with his rib. Dalton Kincaid got back from wrist surgery. He's been back a day or two. Micah Hyde is back in the lineup. As I mentioned, Dalton Kincaid seems to be 100% after dealing with a shoulder. Didn't miss any time, but I know he was dragging it around like a extra suitcase. So yes, those guys seem to be getting back in. I'll say this though, Steph Diggs doesn't look right to me. He took some time off today during the early in the second half. I thought he got shaken up last week in the game.
Early in the game,
and he kind of shrugged it off and gutted it out. But I don't think he's been physically. He's not on the injury report and all that. I just think the guy doesn't feel 100% and hasn't for a couple of weeks. He's a dog. He's going to be there. But I think it's kind of showing. It's wearing on him a little bit, and I think that's one of the reasons that he hasn't been as productive as he has been. Plus, there have been stretches of games where he's just sat down for a minute and taken a breath.
Yeah, he had 7 targets today, 4 catches for 26 receiving yards. Remember, in the beginning of the year, it was 100-yard game after 100-yard game, and I think we all want him to get back to that because he's Josh Allen's #1 target. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL, and you obviously want to use a weapon like that as you head into the playoffs and face some of the best teams in the NFL. So we'll continue to monitor that. He did have a veteran rest day on Friday afternoon. So we'll hear what Sean McDermott has to say. But hopefully, if something is wrong health-wise with Stephon Diggs, he has a week to kind of get back into the swing of things, and maybe we can see the guy that we know and love here in Buffalo. Chris Brown with our insider's take. Let's get over to him.
The main goal was survive and advance, and the Bills did just that. But for the second straight week, their passing game sputtered. Josh Allen started the game 1 for 8 passing and only completed 50% of his throws on the day, going 15 for 30 for 169 and an interception. He was under constant duress from a stout Patriots defensive front and didn't get a lot of help from his receiving corps as they had 3 drops on 3rd downs to kill drives. Stefon Diggs again played a bit part in the effort with just 4 receptions for 26 yards. So the Bills are going to have to find a way to unlock their passing game next week when they face a high-powered attack in the Miami Dolphins for the division title. For Bills Postgame Live, I'm Chris Brown.
Thanks, Chris Brown. You know what? I'm just hoping that the Bills decided to kind of hide some things on offense this week against the Patriots, and they're really going to bring it out here next week against the Miami Dolphins. One thing that the Bills did this week, they add to their record in December and January games since 2020. They're now up to an 18-2 record, I want to say. Since 2020, Josh Allen has 53 total touchdowns in that span. Josh Allen leads the NFL over that time. That's also the best record in the NFL since 2020, an incredible record. Steve, Sean McDermott has also only lost 1 game in Week 17 since becoming the Bills head coach. So yeah, I had a feeling heading into this one, Sean McDermott and this team, they know how to win games late in the season, in December, in January, backs against the wall. Not the best weather. If it's a home game, snow, rain, sleet, wind, whatever it may be, this team knows how to get serious and push to the final couple weeks in the regular season.
Yeah, these are exactly the kind of games you hope you are able to play in as a player when you come into the league. It's a Week 18. You're going to be in the playoffs, but this could be for the division title. I mean, it's an absolutely enormous game, Week 18. The Bills fans and their players and the coaches, this side of the ledger, I don't know about the Dolphins, but this side of the ledger has been pointing towards this opportunity for a month. Every game that the Bills had to win to get a chance to play for the division title, if Miami dropped one, they dropped one today in spectacular fashion to the Baltimore Ravens, 56-19. Tua didn't play late in that game. Josh Allen was pulled late in the Bills game. Both these guys are sitting there ready. This game is for the division title, and it's going to be awesome. Down in Miami, great weather. And I'll say this, too. When you look at how this game early on, when you talk about the matchup with the Dolphins coming up, the Dolphins have struggled with Josh over his career. Now, there's been a couple of times when they've beaten him, no question about it. But the reason the Dolphins struggle with Josh is because of his athleticism. He goes off the script against them. He runs up behind them when they're playing man coverage. He throws the ball extremely well. His ability to create things off script has given the Dolphins problems throughout his career. That's exactly the same thing the Dolphins struggled with today against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar ate them up.
Lamar went off.
Lamar had 5 touchdowns in that game. That's what gives the Dolphins problems, and they got another problem coming in there this next week for the division title. That's why this game is going to be enormous. The Dolphins, if they do things right, they're a hard team to beat, particularly in their own building. But they've always struggled with this guy and this team. There's a lot on the table, too. So this is going to be an absolutely fun game, an absolutely dynamite game. So it's going to be a fun week.
Yeah, it'll be a great week. And, you know, part of you says, I wish the game was in Buffalo so we could have home field advantage. But the other part of you says, hey, it's in Miami. The weather's going to be great. Josh Allen can air it out. This offense is going to feel relaxed and ready to go. They won't have to worry about the cold, snow, rain. And hopefully Bills Mafia travels. Not hopefully. I think we know Bills Mafia will travel for this one. Week 18 game for the division.
There's always a lot of Bills fans down there. And a lot of them live down there. And certainly a lot of them travel down there late in this used to be, well, it is every year. It's a Mecca journey, you know. It's a pilgrimage for most Bills fans. Some of them have to make this trip every year. Right.
Weather.
Let's escape down there. It's a yearly vacation. Let's go. And this year they're going to be gifted an enormous game to watch.
Well, we're waiting for Sean McDermott here. I want to discuss Terrell Bernard. We heard from him earlier in the show, and he finished the game with 3 TFLs, 3 quarterback hits, 2 sacks. He has 6.5 sacks on the season. A younger player who has really come on strong for this team this season. Took over middle linebacker duties after Tremaine Edmonds left to go be a part of the Chicago Bears. And, you know, Terrell, from the get-go, really did a great job of learning the defense, of being a great communicator, being a great leader once he's on the field. I think people had some question marks early on about, okay, this guy is in his first year as a starter in this defense that isn't easy to learn, isn't easy to know, a younger guy, and he is just been great. He fits the system. He fits what Sean McDermott wants to do on defense, and I can't wait for, you know, the next several seasons with Terrell Bernard as the middle linebacker.
And you can tell as well that when he got the job, it was new to him, no question about it. But as the season has worn on, more and more, he's gotten more and more comfortable. He even watched some of the games, and some of the analysts will show you clips where he is communicating at a high level. He's talking to both ends of the defense, the outside corner and the safeties, as well as the other linebacker and the defensive front, making sure everybody's on the right page. It's a big job being in there. Plus, now that he has been in there for 1,000 snaps, it's starting to be second nature to him, and he's playing even more free with more athleticism and anticipation. So he's been in the middle of a lot of really good plays, and he's getting in the middle of a lot more and more as the season wears on. He gets more experience.
He has really great instincts. If you ask anybody on defense in the locker room who watches the most film, a lot of guys will say it's Terrell Bernard. He's always got his Windows Surface on him watching film. I've seen it before as well. So he is somebody who works hard on and off the field to prepare for that upcoming opponent. We've got our post-game speech, so let's hear what Sean McDermott had to say after the victory over the Patriots today.
Act excited a little bit here, Jimbo. That's a great win, man. That's a good win. Hey, we know it wasn't pretty, right? But hey, it's not always going to be pretty. Resilience, man, in spades, right? Resilience in spades, and you came together in that second half, and you played complimentary football and stopped beating ourselves, right? That last 3 and out, well, punt by Sam. Three and out by the defense, punt return, and the offense goes on a big boy drive right there. That's a grown man drive. All right, plenty to get cleaned up, though. I'm proud of you guys, man. I'm proud of each and every one in this locker room.
Let's keep it going, man. We know what's at stake next week, right? Let's just do our job. 1, 2, 3.
Sean McDermott there with a shout out to Sam Martin for the game that he had. And special teams has been up and down this season, but in this game, Sam Martin did a great job of being able to get punts within the 5-10 yard line and backing the Patriots up, having a really long field to try and get down and get into the red zone. And kudos to Sam. I keep saying this for a lot of players, but we're going to need special teams in the postseason as well. We need them to show up. Saran Neal also a great job making sure those punts stayed down within the 5-yard line. What do you think of the game that Sam Martin had, and hopefully can build on something to get some consistency?
I thought he did something really unique today. When he punted the ball, you know the Aussie kick where they drop it vertically and it tumbles like a kickoff. Today it looked to me like he had a different kind of spin on it, like a helicopter spin a little bit. And it worked to perfection because the ball was bouncing straight up. It wasn't bouncing back or forward or sideways. It was bouncing straight up off the ground. Huge bounces that allowed Saran Neal to be there, and those guys did a great job. It really was a factor in the game. And, having to come out, open the game by surrendering a touchdown on the opening kickoff, you got to bounce back from that. They did a nice job in that. They kind of gathered themselves up and said, hey, let's come on now. And they did. They came back. Sam Martin picked up the slack. Tyler Bass was perfect on the day. And I thought the field position that they gave the Patriots just absolutely dug them a hole that was too deep with their offensive output. It was too deep for them to dig out of time after time.
And you want to give Miami a tough time. They're known for their speed on offense. You give them a tough time by giving them terrible field position, and that's on special teams. So hopefully we see more of that out of Sam Martin and company. The Bills have another win streak going. They continue their win streak, so they're up to 4 straight wins on the season. It's their longest win streak since last season when they won 7 straight to finish out the regular season. Nice to see him get back doing that. They needed to do that to be able to get into a scenario where next week is for the division. Yeah,
it's big. You're going to have to be hitting on all cylinders in Miami. It's going to be an enormous. There's a bunch of pressure down there. We've said for a long time that the playoffs start. You started a month ago. This next week is a playoff game, and depending on how well you play, it depends on whether you get a home game the rest of the way.
Yeah, the team has said for about a month now, we're playing as if it's the playoffs because we need to win games to be able to get into the dance. That's what they continue to do. Sean McDermott on the podium right now, so let's get over to our head coach.
All right. Good to get a win. Never easy. Proud of the guys and the way that they pushed through. We're resilient. It was back and forth. I thought they came together and put together a good back quarter there of the game with complimentary football. Never easy to win in this league. So with that, I'll turn it over to you with your questions.
How about that performance from Rasul? He comes over at the trade deadline, and you're expecting him to make an impact, but change the game the way he did today.
Yeah, big time plays early in the game in particular, and I think we have 4. Got 4, and he scored on one of them. So anytime you can do that, you're giving yourself a chance to win games.
Can you explain a little bit of the problem with the offense today? Scored 27, but it was not easy.
Yeah, I would say this. The positive is that Joe and the staff, they made the adjustments they needed to make, came out in the second half, got the score early then, and then that drive to end the game I thought was important, the 4-minute drive. Around that, to your point, I thought we could have done a better job. That's a good defense. Coach Belichick does a great job with that defense, and in particular in the red zone. That's kind of what kept it closer than it should have been, perhaps. So we've got to continue to work, just like our entire football team, improve every week, learn from the game. There's things on defense we can do better, special teams we can do better, and that's really got to be the vision and the goal.
Is there anything you've seen with Josh physically or within his process, especially these last 2 weeks, that has contributed at all to the struggle of the offense?
Well, if I knew, I would, we would have fixed it by now, but not necessarily. I thought we had some fundamental issues throughout the first 2 quarters, I would say for sure, with just throwing, catching. We had some of that, right? We had some
some penalties that were hurting us as well, and across the team, blocking, catching, getting off blocks, beating ourselves with penalties. It was, and that's where we've got to focus heavily this week on improving those areas.
Steph didn't play at all in that first drive coming out of the halftime. Was there anything he was dealing with or anything to?
No, not to my knowledge medically at this point. Yeah.
Sean, what is Vaughn showing in practice this coming week that say he's an option for next game?
Yeah, listen, that was a tough decision. Vaughn's a pro. He's one of the leaders on our team, and I thought he did a phenomenal job on the sideline from a leadership standpoint with his teammates, and he's a very important part of this team, and we have full confidence in him, and look forward to getting him back going forward here.
Sean, if not medically, then what was the reason for that?
With Steph? Yeah, I'm not aware. That's what so it may have just been game plan wise and the plays that were getting called as to why he wasn't in there during that drive.
All of that said, with this stuff, he's kind of it's been 7 games now where he really has not had a big impact, at least statistically. Is that a concern? When we move into these games of the league?
Yeah, no, it is. He's our number one receiver, and whether teams are trying to take him away or they're spreading, getting the ball spread around and things we can do better offensively. And, I know this. Anytime a quarterback is going through his progression, that's the right way to go through it, right? And the ball finds the open players. So Steph continues to work. He's going to be fine. So, but we have things we need to work on overall as a team. And that's one of them, because you can't let your number one receiver go like he has, in particular the last few games. So we've got obviously some work to do.
Sean, I know everything's in front of you with the division title on the line, but from the bye week and everything you guys dealt with to now, what's your team shown you, even though it hasn't always been easy, to get yourself to this spot?
Yeah, they've been very resilient, Mike. Very resilient, and. Just the things that they've learned, I think, through the journey that have gotten us to here, and then using them week to week to find a way to win games. Today we knew wasn't going to be easy, and I thought their resilient nature was on display in the second half. That first drive by our offense, as I mentioned, and then that last exchange of the ball, the last series or two right there with, hey, we punt it, they go 3 and out, we get the ball back. Our offense goes on a drive. I think that says a lot about who they are in terms of their resiliency there.
Sean, looked like a pretty friendly handshake with Bill there at the very end. What can you tell us about that exchange there?
Yeah, listen, they've controlled this division for a long time, and he's won X amount of Super Bowls. So I have a ton of respect for Coach in that regard, and his guys, they fought today, and that was a tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and it was a cordial, professional handshake and exchange of words and respect.
Hey, Sean, Bernard with 2 seconds there on that drive, sort of pushing out of range. How far does he come this year, just as a goal starting that drive?
Yeah, TB. Yeah, no, he's done a good job. Again, this is a position that, Tremaine left, for free agency this past off season, and TB steps into a spot where there were a lot of question marks, quite honestly, and I think he's done a really nice job of leading our defense, growing in the understanding as well of our defense, and then his ability to lead because he understands the defense more and more each week. He's only going to get better, and extremely proud of him, and not only his play but his leadership.
Sean, Josh took a shot at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Any concern from your perspective after talking with trainers?
I haven't really talked to trainers yet. I just walked by the trainer room. So.
How do you gauge where your defense is heading into January? You take a look at it from the arc of the season and how much you've learned. I know that's a lot. Back into one question.
Yeah. Well, I thought today was there was a lot of good today. The 4 takeaways, the score off on defense, off one of the takeaways. That said, there's certainly things, as I mentioned earlier, that we can improve on, and so we've got to be dialed in on those as we move forward here.
What's an example?
Well, it'll be giving away. We've got to try and make people work a little bit, Tim. So. It'd be like saying, hey, what's wrong with you? Well, I got no hair, right? I mean, I'm going to make them work to figure out I don't have any hair by wearing a hat. So
you're saying it's not obvious?
It's not obvious. No, I got work to do. I have work to do. We have work to do.
Sean, we asked you earlier in the week about scoreboard watching. We noticed there wasn't the score of the Dolphins game on the scoreboard. Did that come from your perspective, for you?
From my perspective,
Did it come from
someone
you?
asked earlier in the week if that was a Buffalo Bills rule. Was that you, Tim, that asked about that? John did. Yeah, John's not here. It was not a Buffalo Bills rule. It was just something that we wanted to do to keep our guys focused. So.
Who's we? Is that
We.
Are you we?
The staff and me.
So how quickly after the game did you look to see what that score was?
When I was in my locker, Derek had briefed me on the score. So, but we got some more work to do here. So.
Your thoughts on Sam Martin?
Yeah, great day. Great to see Sam. It's a great example of, he went through a stretch there of, a couple weeks maybe, where it wasn't up to his and our standard, and he knows that. And the journey of a season, right? That's to me, that's a microcosm of the journey of a season for a player in this case and for a team, where you go through ups and downs, and can you get yourself out of it, and can you stay confident through it, right? Keep your belief in yourself, your belief in those around you. I think if you can keep your belief through the journey of a season, the course of a season, I think if you can endure that, you got something.
How does Daquan change things that you want to do up front? Terrell Bernard talking to him, he was like, my job gets a lot easier when Daquan's in there. What does he do for you as up front?
Yeah, it was good to have him out there today. And again, I applaud him for. He's worked. I saw Daquan in there since the day he went out after his surgery and came back to us. Matt Milano, the same thing. Tre'Davious White, and Daquan obviously had a chance, and he just worked his tail off to get back. He was so diligent working with our trainers. They did a great job as well, Nate and his staff. And now to come back out, it's been 10 weeks roughly, right? So we had to manage expectations, at least for me going into it, of, hey, so it's hopefully today was a step in the right direction in terms of getting his sea legs back and being a factor for us.
Sean Rasul shows his patience out there today with those 2 interceptions. Now standing at the door, asking me if I wrap up.
Is he?
Getting a little impatient.
Well, I'll just filibuster up here. I'll just be up here for about another 15. So you guys might want to talk to Rasul. Thanks, and Happy New Year to everyone.
All right, we'll hear from Rasul Douglas shortly, but wanted to share this. Bill Belichick has never had a 12-loss season as a head coach. It's the Patriots' most losses in a season in franchise history since 1992, so quite some time since the Patriots had a 12-loss season, and Bill Belichick has never had a 12-loss season in his career.
He's 1 loss away from tying the NFL record for most losses in a head coach's career. He's behind Dan Reeves and another, I can't think of the exact guy now, but he is closing in on that. Even having said that, that's almost a testament. You don't get to lose that many games unless you're winning a ton of games, because when you lose that much, you get fired. He doesn't get fired very much. And has won a lot of games. But yes, he's been around so long that both ends of his spectrum, the wins and the losses, are record-setting.
Yeah, that's in 29 years of being a head coach. That's a lot of years that it took to get to that. It'll be interesting to see what happens with New England in a lot of different ways this offseason. Josh Allen has also won the last 5 of 6 against the New England Patriots. All right, Rasul Douglas, the man of the hour. Let's hear from him right now.
Rasul, when it's happening for you like that, in spurts and in a quick period, is it something that you're reading? Is there coincidence? How does that all snowball like it did for you in that sequence?
Kind of both. I just think that coach put me in a good position today to make plays. He put me a little cut up to the side, a play that I might get and what to look for. And I got multiple of the plays that he showed me.
Sean?
No. Who, Maddy?
Yeah.
No. It's on JB. Yeah.
Russell, so many guys were talking about the resiliency of this team. From your perspective, coming in mid-season and seeing what this team's been able to do to now be playing for the division title again, what stands out about just kind of the identity of this Bills team?
Yeah, resilience, relentless. We gonna always fight. I think that we got our identity now, and we know what we are capable of doing. So now it's just like, it's either we gonna put it on tape or we not, you know. So.
How would you describe what your identity is?
As one, like we won. That's what I think our identity is. We won. We all played equally yoked. So.
To have the success you've had in such a short amount, since coming here about mid-season, just what is that like for you to have these games you've been able to have multiple takeaways, and what does a day like today feel like for you?
It feels good. And that we won. I think that's the most important thing. And now we just got to go to Miami and win. So.
The pick six, when did you know that you had it?
Did I know I had the pick six?
Yeah.
What you mean?
Like, when did you know during the play?
That I was going to get a pick six?
Yeah.
I don't know. I usually, when we send a weak side pressure, watching on film, I usually throws it quick to the receiver that's usually on the X. So I seen a blitz, and I was like, he got to throw it hot or he's going to get sacked. He threw it. I think him and the receiver wasn't on the same page. He threw it. As soon as I got the ball, I'm like, I got to try to score. I had one that I could have gotten in the end zone, but I messed up. So I was like, I'll try to get it back.
Can you take us through Ed's interception from your perspective? I think he got a hand on it, and then he comes through with a one-handed dive.
Yeah, that should have been another pick by me. I should have had 3, honestly, because I knew it was coming. I read it, but I was on the right side of the tight end, and he kind of threw it to the left, so I had to go around him and deflect it up. And then I seen Ed diving for it. I was just happy that he caught it.
Yeah. See a big man like that make a dive like that.
Mm-hmm. That's impressive. But Ed he got hands though, because we be at practice and he be talking about how he can catch, and he do some of our drills, and it don't look like he don't know how to catch. It looks smooth, so he got some hands.
We asked Taryn about your play, and he said there's guys playing the league a long time and won't take some of the chances that you do. He scored and marveled at it, and he said you got to almost have you don't care or don't worry that much about what could happen.
Yeah.
Do you feel that's the way you play?
Yeah. Because if you make the play, ain't nobody going to say nothing, you know? It's like Steph Curry. Like, he can shoot all the crazy shots he want, but if he making them, what you going to say as a coach? You going to be like, all right, well, keep shooting them, you know? I guess when he's, like, misses too many in a row, then you might tap him like, all right, you know, calm down. But JB, he allows me to play. He trusts that I watch film and the film that he gives me to watch, so.
Russell, did you have to learn how to be like that, or is that just something that always came natural?
Oh, yeah. I've always been able to catch interceptions and catch the ball.
I mean, more like the don't care.
The confidence that.
Oh, the confidence? Yeah. When you're in the right system and your coach allows you to be you, yeah.
How has your opinion changed, or if at all, of the Bills' defense from when you got here and maybe didn't know much about it to where we are now in January?
Let me see how I can answer that question. I feel like now, like since maybe like 4 weeks, we just been playing with that. Like, bro, we really the best. Like, you know, and like I think we all believe we the best. So it's like every time we come out there, every series, every snap, we communicating, we talking, we telling each other like, yo, you the best, bro. Like they telling you the best. It's just that feedback that we just get from each other. Like, come on, let's go. And I think that's what we all need. You know, that little boost and spark.
Who was doing that for you today, or who were you doing it for?
Well, everybody. Like everybody. Every time I see somebody, I say it, and then every time they see me, they be like, bro, you the best. Like, make a play, let's go. And it just happens. We just feed off each other.
Michael was at his locker and was kind of like baffled still that you guys, that the Bills were able to trade for you. What does it feel like to kind of be like that piece that kind of everybody seems to feel like brought this all together?
I don't know about that, man. I just listen to Mike and Poe. I mean, they've been in the league a pretty long time, and I've been watching them for a while. So whatever they tell me to do, I just do it, honestly. Yeah.
Micah also says you cheat at Uno.
I cheat?
At Uno?
No. Josh Norman is the cheater. He had 5 cards in his hand. It went around. It got back to him. He had Uno, and no one knows how he had Uno. He stood up, and all his cards fell out of his pocket. That's the real cheater. That's the real cheater right there.
So that's how you cheat Nuno. Okay.
That's how he cheats. We got.
I was wondering. I was like, how does one cheat Nuno?
That's how he cheats. He just hides cards. He keeps the cards underneath the table, and when he comes up, it's like less cards every time. So for him, how we play, like Vaughn makes him, because Vaughn's basically our commissioner in the locker room. He makes sure the Uno game, he got to reset the rules out. So we make Jano put all his cards on the table. He literally has to before he play, because he'll cheat. So yeah. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
All right, Rasul Douglas and Uno. That Uno table is hot after practices. A lot of guys always around the table playing games with each other. And it speaks to the culture in this locker room. These guys really love each other. They talk each other up, as you heard Rasul Douglas say. They believe in each other. And that's what we need as we move on. So, Steve, what do the Bills need to do this week as we prepare for Week 18?
Well, they need to tighten up their offensive execution, no question about it. I think one of the things that Joe Brady could do, and this is just me talking after a game like this where we went through where they were up and down as a roller coaster. One of the things they do, they need to lean on their offensive line. Certainly they struggle at a point like Connor McGovern got whiffed a couple of times today, but for the most part, this offensive line is really, really solid. That's what they got to lean on offensively. Get the ball out of Josh's hands. Get some guys open. I love the fact that they handed the ball off to Steph Diggs once today for a 5-yard game down in the red zone. Finding new and different and more innovative ways to run the ball down close. If you can run the ball in the red zone, that really is kind of a magic elixir to fix your problems. Now, the Bills have always been good all season at getting the ball into the end zone. They met a really good red zone defense today statistically. The Patriots, one of the good things they do is play red zone defense. But the Bills found some innovative ways to run the ball down there. Certainly Josh got a couple of rushing touchdowns, which kind of tells you that they're that good as well. So that's one of the things I would do if I'm Joe Brady in this offense. Lean on that offensive line. You've got some guys playing at a high level. They've played well all year. Spencer Brown's playing the best football of his career. So is Deion Dawkins. And the two guards, Osiris Torrance has been exactly what they wanted him to be when they drafted him. And Connor McGovern, they gave him the biggest free agent contract of the season. And these guys are playing like it. So I think they need to lean on those guys and ask them to kind of go out there and be the anchor for this offense. Hide Josh behind him. Let him run behind it. Let James Cook continue to cook back there. And get the ball out of Josh's hands fast. That's one of the things I would do this week. Maybe focus on that, because there's certainly got to find a way to get Josh's completion percentage back up to 70%, where it was against Dallas. We are still not sure what the time or the date of this next game is. Hopefully we find out by this evening, but you guys will be able to see it as soon as we find out on social media, on Buffalo Bills social media, as well as buffalobills.com. So that's where you guys can go. This week's game against the Patriots is presented by Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster is the presenting sponsor of the Buffalo Bills 2023 season. Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the NFL. That's going to do it for us for Bills Postgame Live. Maddy Glab alongside Steve Tasker, bringing you guys into the new season. Let's hope for 2024 some more Buffalo Bills wins. Happy New Year, everybody.